Thank you all very much for coming today. The seat is a hot seat. There's many eminent speakers have already. I'm just trying to follow in their steps a little bit. Please forgive me for any offenses. Correct me if there are any corrections to be made. We'll get started with. So we're going to have a short talk on Bhagavad Gita chapter 7. Bhagavad Gita chapter 7 is entitled Knowledge of the Absolute, Jnana Vijnana Yoga in Sanskrit. So we'll get started with the Jaya Radha Mantra. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari everyone can recite along. So all the words are there on the screen. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 So, we just concluded 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita, the last class. We went for about 6 months or more. So, we broadly covered various topics. Many speakers spoke last 6 chapters, and the topics that were covered was the Sankhya, which is the science of the self, of the soul, then Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, and Dhyana Yoga. Most recently we completed the Dhyana Yoga, which is about the meditation and the Ashtanga Yoga. 8 types of yogas that were described in that chapter. So we concluded that. Now Krishna is going to speak the middle 6 chapters, which is 7th to 12th, on Bhakti Yoga. And then finally, last third section, he'll be speaking on the Jnana. So in the Bhakti section, he actually put that as a sandwich between the 2 slices. So that, because that's the main essence of the teachings that he wants to give to Arjuna and through Arjuna to us. So Bhakti, he has kept it in the middle portion because Bhagavad Gita is considered like a jewel, right? Many of you have heard that analogy. It's like a jewel box. So when you open the top box, you'll find Karma Yoga, bottom box Jnana Yoga. In between is the jewel, where it is Bhakti is described. Krishna spoke about that in that. So what we went through were actually very difficult chapters that we went through, basically, because, okay, we'll cover that. Let's go into the sections of this topic. 7 to 12, I'm just going to speak very broadly. It's nothing, we're not going to any details, okay, here. In this section, 7 to 12, Krishna will speak about who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That means he's going to speak about himself. Little more emphatically, he's going to make himself very clear that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then he's going to speak about the various energies and what is his relationship with these energies. Then we can also think about what is my relationship with these energies, right? He spoke about us, the spirit soul, in the first 6 chapters because he gave a lot of importance to the living entities there. The subject matter was focused on that. And then we should also understand what is my relationship with this whole thing that's happening. And then how do I act? And also what's the best method to understand the whole thing, the science of self-realization. So that's what is the broad. Any questions? If it is too, I'm not going to take you in through the process into Bhagavad Gita verses in the sense deeper subjects because that takes a lot of time to study. Bhagavad Gita is a study manual for life. We have to study it, not in the 45 minutes that we're going to cover, even a lot of the subject, right? So this is the overall topics. So we'll go right into the chapter 7 breakdown so that you have an idea of the entire chapter. Again, we're only covering the first 6 verses today. Chapter 7 breakdown goes like this. First 3 verses, Krishna speaks. Just hear, he says, knowing Krishna by hearing. So we just have to hear. That is first 3 verses. And the next 8 verses, Krishna's material and spiritual energies he speaks. Because Krishna is speaking here. Arjuna doesn't ask, does Arjuna ask any question? Anybody knows? I don't think so. Arjuna doesn't ask any questions in this chapter. It's just Krishna is only speaking 30 verses. Then surrendering unto Krishna, verses 13 to 19. Devata worship and impersonalism, verses 20 to 25. And last section, delusion, getting away from Maya and going to Krishna through devotion. That is verses 26 to 30. So if you remember the head acronym, HEAD, you will have the idea about this chapter. Head is hearing, H stands for hearing. E is everywhere because Krishna's energies are all over the universe, spiritual and material. So if your word, remember E, everywhere, okay? And A stands for either accept or reject. Some people accept Krishna, some people reject Krishna. So if you remember that in the head A, that is some verses that is covered. And D is devotion. You can say as Devata worship, you can call it as delusion, you can call it as devotion. So head, if you remember the word head, you should have an idea of this entire chapter. Okay, now we'll just go through the verses 1 to 6. I'm going to say the verse, all of you will repeat, and one volunteer I will ask to read the translations. Is that okay? Verse 1. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Maya Shakta Manaha Partha Yogam Munjanmadashrayah Asamshayam Samagram Mam Yatanyasa Sitrachunu. Volunteers, please speak in the microphone so that everyone can hear.
Translation by Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Srila Prabhupada. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "Now hear, O son of Pritha, how by practicing yoga in full consciousness of me, with mind attached to me, you can know me in full, free from doubt." Hare Krishna.
Verse 2. Jnanam teham savijnanam idam vakshama sheshatah yajñatmaneha bhurojñat jnatvavam avashishyate.
I shall now declare unto you in full this knowledge, both phenomenal and luminous. This being known, nothing further shall remain for you to know.
Verse 3. Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschit yatati siddhaye yatatam siddhanam kaschin mam vetti tattvataha.
Out of many thousands among men, one may endeavor for perfection, and of those who have achieved perfection, hardly one knows me in truth. Hare Krishna.
Text 4. Bhumirapo nalo vayuhu kammano buddhireva cha ahankara iti yamme binna prakritirashtada.
Earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence and false ego. All together these 8 constitute my separated material energies.
Text 5. Apareyam itastvanyam prakritim viddhi me param jiva bhutam mahabaho yedam dharyate jagat.
Hare Krishna. Besides these, O mighty armed Arjuna, there is another superior energy of mind which comprises the living entities who are exploiting the resources of this material inferior nature.
Text 6. Etad yonini bhutani sarvani tu padaraya aham krishnasya jagatah prabhavah pralayasthatha. Volunteers.
All created beings have their sources in these 2 natures of all that is material and all that is spiritual in this world. Know for certain that I am both the origin and the dissolution. Hare Krishna.
Thank you everyone for volunteering. So far in the 6 chapters, Krishna spoke about various topics, as we said. They were kind of difficult ones. In the sense, like we were asked to give up the results, control the senses, control the mind, become detached from the results. Isn't and develop knowledge by doing that, right? It is intellectually challenging. Like you want to develop knowledge. What is all this about? And in the 6th chapter, he spoke about the Ashtanga. Physically, it was challenging, right? You need to put your head straight, basically, neck and head straight. And where do you have to focus? On the tip of the nose. And imagine doing that for hours. And then what do you do? Actually, meditate on Krishna. That was the point, right? Because that's what he said at the end. Last verse was Yoginam api sarvesham madgatena antaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yumam same mukta samo mataha. So whoever concentrates their mind by focusing in this way, putting head straight and concentrating on the tip of the nose for hours, thinking about Krishna, Krishna considers himself the topmost yogi. Is that an easy process? It is not, definitely. It was not easy for Arjuna himself, what to speak of us. We are the internet people, Gen Z generation, so we are most qualified that we cannot understand, or we are not the recipients of that kind of knowledge or that kind of process. So what's the most easier process, you think, for us? Chanting. And what else? Hearing. Because you don't have to do anything. All you have to do is even eavesdrop also you can hear. Because you can hear many things on the way to work, on the internet, at home. Just hearing. You stand on the road, you can hear at least the cars going by. So there's nothing much that you have to do. You just have to hear. He made it that simple. A very simple process, yet very powerful process. So Krishna is telling in this verse, and he is speaking. No one is asking, Arjuna has not asked him a question. Why? Because Krishna is very merciful. He wants to just give this knowledge. When it comes from him to give knowledge, he doesn't need someone to ask him a question. Just like parents. Do children ask parents to give them food, shelter, clothing, make them to study? They are given, they are provided with everything. Parents just do it automatically. And teachers. Do teacher ask student, you ask me the question, then I will teach. Will teacher say that? No. Why would Krishna do that? So Krishna is also telling, just hear. I am going to speak what is important for you, just hear. So now he's changed that emphasis from the detachment. He's not telling any Arjuna to become detached or give up something. He's saying, just become attached. Attached to whom? Attached to himself. How? By hearing. So do we all agree when we hear something, we become attached to it?
Yes.
Right? What is the best example of that? Sorry? I am not going into the scripture. Tell me contemporarily, what is the best?
Music.
Go into your phone, just scroll. They have captivated you. How have they captivated you? Audio and video visuals. Not even for a fraction of a second you will be unoccupied in your mind. Right? They are giving you music, they are giving you they speak also, and they make colorful. And then you, how many, only for fraction of a second, and how many hours are we going there? Many hours. Just by few seconds we give for one person, and each person takes few seconds, that adds up to. So it's very simple, right? Here. Very simple. Just see and hear, and Krishna is giving little hard one. Now, these people have made it so easy. We can just hear, see, touch. All our senses are included. Then you can imagine how much are we captivated by this. It is 100% captivation. It's more than 100% because we are totally engrossed at that time. Isn't it? Like nothing can disturb us. Parents calling, husband, wife calling. No, I'm going to do this. So this is how much we are captured. So hearing is like that. So if you can hear Krishna speak, our minds get attached. That's what Krishna is telling. Become attached to me by hearing. So that hearing process is such a powerful process. Why is it powerful? You know this verse, on this particular verse, Krishna spoke Prabhupada spoke 36 times. In his 14 years of traveling in US, in North America and in Western countries, he spoke 36 times. Can you imagine? This particular verse number 1, is very important because that emphasizes the first process of devotion service, hearing. Shravanam. Everyone must be, all of you are devotees here, or at least have heard Srimad Bhagavad Gita, and not new. Some of you might not have heard, like there is a verse which talks about the 9 processes of devotion service. Anyone knows that? Let's say it. First process is Shravana. So it's most important, and it's the first faculty that comes to the living entities. You all must have heard that. And it is the last faculty that leaves us also. Even on the deathbed, the living entity can hear. That's why they keep chanting, because they can still hear until they leave the body. So it's a very simple yet very powerful process, hearing. So we should hear. How should we hear? Any ideas? Just like make one straight connection from this ear to this ear, and whatever hear from here, send it out from here. That's how we should hear? Close up. We should make our hearing process, our ears like funnels. What does funnel do? If you put in a glass, put a funnel, everything goes down quickly without spilling outside. That's how the hearing should be. Like ears made as funnels. And it goes, where does it go? Where does it go? Straight into the heart. When you make your ears as funnels, they go straight into the heart. So that is how one has to hear. Why? We understood, right? Because that's the most important thing we should do. And Prabhupada has also emphasized it a lot. And all the advancement that you can think of in Krishna consciousness happens through this hearing process. Then some of you devotees are humble, they say, I'm not that advanced or anything. But we can also think, why are we not advancing? Maybe our hearing process is not that strong. That might be one of the reasons. So maybe we can look into our hearts. We are not, because hearing is something that we have to give 100% attention. So when we hear attentively, our hearts and minds are captured. Then do you experience any boredom in that? No boredom. When you are hearing, when you are captivated, just like scrolling, when you are captivated, there's nothing boredom. Similarly, when you hear attentively, there's no boredom. And that's a test. Actually, that's a test of our Krishna consciousness. How much we hear and how much we become attached to. And where are the places that we should hear from? Bona fide. Like from the right sources. The books that we have by Srila Prabhupada, this is the ISKCON Krishna Consciousness Movement. So we are going to propagate Prabhupada's books. So we should hear from Prabhupada's books. Because many people these days have their own platforms, have their own channels. They want to give us their association in the social media. So we want to watch out where we take association from. So we want to read and hear from the right sources. And when should we hear? Satatam Kirtayam Vyoma. That means all the time, or at least waking hours. Like the Acharya says, keep the vibration going. If anyone has heard that, let the vibrations keep going. While driving, you can hear. While cooking, definitely you can. While brushing, also, many devotees, they just hear Prabhupada's lectures while taking shower or you're brushing in the morning. While working also, some people can multitask like that. I cannot do, but many people can do. So while working also, that means my 8 hours are gone just like that because I'm not hearing those many hours. But we can as much as try to do hearing because this is a very important subject matter. So now Krishna is also speaking about that, right? So we're going to go what Krishna has spoken in this verse. We will not go into Sanskrit part of it, just English. So it says, going first, Tat Shunu. Tat Shunu means hear. By hearing what happens, we can hear this side. We don't have to look that side today, as we are going to learn. So, yes, our doubts also gets cleared. Krishna is saying that asamshayam. The asamshayas will become cleared. All the doubts will be removed. Then we can know Krishna holistically by hearing from him. We can also take shelter of Krishna because we feel inspired. By understanding Krishna, we can feel inspired and then we can serve Krishna by practicing Bhakti Yoga by that process. And finally what happens is become attached to him. So this hearing process is that we become attached. Okay? Any personality from Shastra that has only heard about Krishna and became attached to them?
Rukmini.
Rukmini Devi. She did not see Krishna before she became attached to him. She only heard about him through the saints, Narada Muni and various other saints, and she became attached to Krishna. Right? So hearing is a very important. So can we all hear now by chanting few times? Hear the Mahamantra. I'll put a timer for 1 minute. We can hear attentively. If you have beads, please get them ready. Okay. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Thank you all very much. That was just so how nice it is when we hear mind is captivated actually. Then you cannot go out of that process. It's very, very captivating. In the initial days of my own Krishna consciousness, when I was practicing, when I started to chant one round, I used to chant one round in the morning, one round in the evening. At that time, my attention was so much that it was the most beautiful experience, this chanting one round that I ever experienced. I don't feel that experience any longer, but this was in the beginning, very, very, very beginning. So you can actually feel that because when you are eager to chant and hear the Maha Mantra, it won't let you out of your attention. It's that because who is saying? Rupa Goswami is saying that he needs millions and millions of ears and tongues to chant the holy name and hear its glories. So we are not able to sustain with 1 and 2 ears, 1 tongue and 2 ears. So we have to make it as a practice to hear and also the glories of chant the holy name and also hear the glories of the holy name. So we'll move to the next verse. So by doing this, what happens as a byproduct of hearing about Krishna? We develop knowledge. Knowledge is developed. Okay? Vijnana. That's what in the second verse we read. Jnana Vijnanam. We are not going to recite the verses again. But Jnanam Teham Savijnanam Idam Vakshama Sheshataha Yajnatma Neha Bhuyo Jnat Jnatmamam Avishishyate. We will not go into the details of the verse. But Jnanam is what we develop by hearing about Krishna. Krishna is saying this. We develop knowledge and repeatedly hearing that knowledge, realization comes. That is Vijnana. So you sometimes try to call people to our Sunday feast, right? Prasadam is nice. You tell them that Prasadam is nice here. Just come over. They don't have experience. So that's why people just walk in and they middle of the program itself they walk out because they have no taste. At least they have not experienced the taste of Prasadam here. Or probably they will because they have taken away. But until we experience it, we will not know it, right? Until we eat the prasadam, we will not know, isn't it? So, and after you have eaten, that realization that you get, who can describe it? Only you. That's the experience you have. So, whatever realizes, whatever stays with you after you have gained that knowledge is the realization. Okay? So, you can say, Jnanam is theory. Vijnanam is the practical. So when realized knowledge means not only to understand theoretically but also act on that understanding. So when we talk about milk, right, as an analogy, how can we describe milk? It is white substance. It's a liquid. Some people may say, describe milk. It's white. Is it complete? It's also liquid. Is it complete? Not yet. It may be cool, it may be warm. Is it complete? No. But when can you get the full experience of milk? By drinking it. You'll also experience it is white, you can see it is white, you can touch it is cool and it's liquid. You'll get the energy out of it also. So that's how it is. Also take any sweet. Favorite sweets of someone might be rasgulla, gulab jamun. If you keep on describing it, how much can you understand it? We have to eat it to get understanding of that. to experience it. So realization is like that. So we have to perform based on the knowledge, act on that knowledge. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We understood that as a knowledge. We have to act on it. Act on that knowledge, then we get the realization. So jnana, knowledge can be that we hear about in the scriptures, what acharyas is described based on their realizations. That is their vijnana, not ours. That their realization. When we read that, we may get jnana only, but we need to develop our own realization. So, in one sense, we can say the greatness of Krishna can be called as jnana, sweetness, the sweet pastimes of Krishna that you will start describing after you have experienced them or understood them to your heart, from your heart. That is vijnana. Okay, so Krishna is saying, after you have understood about me, you will develop this vijnana, complete knowledge. Prabhupada says in the verse, in the purport, when cause of all causes becomes known, then everything knowable becomes known, nothing remains unknown. So this is what Prabhupada says. Krishna also says that in the 6th verse. There is nothing that will be remaining for you to know. But is it all that we have to know by reading Bhagavad Gita? There are other scriptures also, right? Apart from Bhagavad Gita. We have higher subjects, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, various other scriptures. So it doesn't end with Bhagavad Gita, but Krishna is saying you will get complete knowledge about me. So Bhagavad Gita is principles. Principles wise we have got complete knowledge because Krishna has spoken about everything, principle wise. So you don't have to go to learn the principles into any other book. To learn higher topics like the details of the exchanges, loving exchanges from the devotees, then you can go to higher books. But the principle wise Bhagavad Gita is a full scripture that you can rest assured that you have got it. So that was the 2nd verse. Krishna speaks about, this is very rare, Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschit ilati siddhi yatadam api siddhanam kaschit mam vikti tattvataha. That means no one can understand him because this is very rare. How many customers you find for diamonds? Are there how many, just like you see them in Walmart with vegetables, fruits, do you see customers for diamonds? No. It's very, very precious metal. So very, very few people come to Krishna. Or we can see how many people are here compared to how many people are out there who are showing interest in Krishna consciousness. So when one realizes that Krishna is the possessor of unlimited inconceivable energies, the cause of everything as a jewel of unlimited auspicious qualities such as omniscience, omnipotence and affection for his devotees is very rare. Such people are very rare. Why do you think it is very rare? Any thoughts? Why is this rare? Or why are people coming? Krishna speaks about the devotees who come to him in this verse as rare. Even further in the same chapter, he speaks about them as very, very rare. Mahatma, he calls them. But why are they rare?
Maya is very strong.
Maya is strong, yes. But devotees are there, na? Devotees are trying to overcome. Because this process deflates our ego. It's deflating, we become very humble. So that takes a lot from us. That's why there is rarity. So in order for us to become advanced, we have to become humble, right? Purity has to develop, self-control. We have to develop internally. So it takes a lot from a person. So we may come into Krishna consciousness, but to become perfect, it takes a lot. That's why it's rare. Krishna also says that. It's not every people can make it to the end. There is hope, we can, if we put ourselves 100%. Okay, so that's very rare. Then, the next section he goes into Krishna's spiritual and material energies. Krishna's material energies, we read that verse. Bhumir apo analo apayo kammano buddhirevacha ahankara mitiyam me binna prakriti rashana. There are 8 separated energies, which consists of, anybody knows? We read? Yes. The gross elements are earth, water, fire, air, ether. And the subtle ones are mind, intelligence and false ego. These are the, is he calling them as my separated energies. Why are these are his separated energies? Because he's not in them. Just like when we recording is going on. And after that, recording will be there, I am not there. Right now I'm here, recording is happening. Just like Krishna has given his energies. But after that, the sound will be there, I will not be there. Right? So that's why they are separated. They become separated from me. Right now it's happening only because I'm here. But they become separated after that. So these are the elements that he speaks. We can experience these elements as well. Mind, intelligence and false ego are within us. And the body comprises of this earth, water, fire, air and ether. What are the different sense objects that you can describe of these material elements? Anybody knows? The sense objects are from the earth we get the smell, fragrance. From water, taste of water. Krishna says I am taste of water, so we get water from taste from water. Fire, form. Air is touch. Ether is sound. So these are we can experience within ourselves. So when we sit quietly, maybe we can experience for another minute. Close your eyes and see how you can experience the ground underneath that, which is earth. Maybe close your eyes for maybe 30 seconds. You can experience the earth. Warmth in your body. Air passing through. You can also hear the sounds. Hare Krishna. So these are the material elements that they are not separated from these. When we can connect these to Krishna, these material elements become very relatable to us. Krishna will start speaking about these verses, about these elements only in further verses, where you can, in your day-to-day life, you can experience Krishna. And he considers the living entities as the superior. He calls the material elements as the inferior energies. The living entities are superiors. All the living entities, not only the human beings and higher spiritual beings, but all other living entities, he considers Krishna considers them as superior energy of his. The living entities have power to act, but they are not powerful. And they have no independent existence. Just like we have made all these elements, whatever you see here is made by man. So man has power to create things, but he is not independently creating it. If he starts thinking that I am the creator of this, then that's a problem. Krishna says in this verse that I am the apareyam itasvanyam prakritim vidyame param jiva bhuta mahabaho yayedam dharite jagat. These people are suffering. That's because they think they are the controllers. That's why they are suffering. But if we can understand we are part and parcel of Krishna, then we can see that we are not independently acting on anything. Independently, we are not the actors. We may have some powers, we may have acquired powers, but we are not powerful enough to do anything. And the final verse for this today is Krishna is the creator of both. Krishna says that I am the Etad Yonini Bhutani Sarvaniti Upadaraya Aham Krishnasya Jagataha Prabhavaha Pranayastata. I am the source of creating this material and spiritual energies. And I'm also the destroyer. Is also the destroyer exists. The material bodies develop because the spirit soul is there, and the universal gigantic bodies also develop because of the presence of the super soul. So if we start controlling, and we have become entangled because we think that we are the controllers. As long as we know that we are conditioned and not the if you know that you are conditioned souls, then we'll exercise less of this controllership. Because controllership only comes in our constitutional stage. Mother Yashoda can control Krishna. We cannot control Krishna. Because she is in her constitutional position. We are in our conditioned position. So when we say that we are the controllers and we are in a victim, and that's when we become more entangled. We need to understand that. So finally, to conclude this section, hearing is the most important section, part of this entire topic. Other things you can also carry about the elements and how you can understand the whole thing is connected to Krishna. Just few points. Hearing is very important. It's simple path for getting inner peace and spiritual growth. Hearing spiritual topics is uplifting to the soul, brings in clarity and peace. And what we hear shapes our thoughts, right? We are a product of our hearing. The thoughts come up based on what we hear, and our habits develop based on our actions, and the habits shape our consciousness, and that's the destiny is created. And we can hear from Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, we can hear Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. We can practice this only for 10-15 minutes per day, chanting attentively. Maybe 10 other times, maybe it is hard, mind goes away. But intently we can practice this for 10 to 15 minutes per day. Hear from the authentic sources, Srila Prabhupada's books, and the teachers coming in that discipline succession. And there are a lot of distractions. We understand internet is the main one, but persistence is the key. So hearing is simple, powerful, and it can transform your life over time. Okay? Thank you, Hare Krishna. If there are any questions?
Hare Krishna, thank you very much, Mataji, for your class. I liked how you gave acronyms to help understand the chapter, but also you explained each section of the verse that you covered very nicely with a lot of relatable points. Thank you. If there are any questions or reflections, we can take a couple right now before we move forward with our next program. All right?
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you so much for that wonderful presentation. Is it better to hear for 15 minutes with attention, or is it more important to continue hearing throughout the day, even if you cannot recollect what you actually heard? Which one is better?
Yeah, so when you're in the practice stage, intently we can hear for 15 minutes. So in this 15 minutes, I'll take notes, whatever I'm hearing. I'm trying to reproduce also. With attention, you can do. Rest of the times, we can just let it go, let the vibrations keep going. But that 15 minutes of your attention will take you far. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you so much for the wonderful class. Mataji, please can you share some tips for hearing attentively, practical tips?
One thing will help is to write down as we are hearing. Writing down helps because we have lost the capacity to write also these days because we are all typing. So if you write down, that's why children learn far more better than adults because they write also. So you can write down the points, and we can summarize that for ourselves at the end as well, what you have heard for 15 minutes. So that way retention can be increased. Okay. Good?
Questions? If there aren't any, if you have them, you can ask them during Prashadam time. Once again, thank you very much, Mataji. Before we continue with the next part of our program, I'm just going to do a couple of announcements that we made. So we have a monthly shloka recitations program. It's for about 30 minutes every month, and we also have shloka classes for kids that happen every Friday at 8 p.m. And this is for children between the ages of 5 to 15. So if you're interested, you can speak to members of the front desk for information on how to enroll your children in those classes. We also have weekly kirtan, like singing classes for children and adults. So the children's classes will happen on Saturday mornings and for children aged 7 and up. And for adults, it also happens on Saturday morning. And if you're interested in those classes, you can speak to me and I can help you get connected. And there's an important announcement today. So since prasadam is Krishna, please do not throw uneaten prasadam in the garbage. Basically, take as much as you can. Try not to take more than you can eat so that it gets wasted. So thank you for your consideration. And if you have, like in the future, if you want to bring a takeout container to pack any uneaten prasadam, it would be nice. And some special prayers. So let's chant the Hare Krishna mantra 3 times for the health and wellness and longevity of His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj and a few members of our community, namely Padmaja Mataji and Lakshmi Mataji, for their speedy recovery. So on a count of 1, 2, 3, let's chant the mantra. 1, 2, 3. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you all so much. So now we will have our final kirtan, followed by prasadam. Thank you all so much for coming, and we hope to see all of you next Sunday as well. Hare Krishna.